there's a lot of people who are watching this who are looking at next year as the new fresh start. All right. Now, how do you think that ties into what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, whenever we start a new year, Zane, we like to plan it out. And because if there's something to be said about if you know what target to hit, it's easier to hit the target. Blind archery is very challenging, and nobody I know of is good at it. So we want to have clear, measurable, definable targets. Now, if your targets involve making money online, and I hope they do, because that's about the only thing I'm good at and good at teaching others, then you have to define the two components that play into that equation. The first component, of course, is traffic, and the second component is conversion. Now, most people think of those two things as separate entities, but that'd be like thinking about the brain and the heart as separate and leaving it there. Now, naturally, the brain and the heart are separate, but they both kind of are required if you want to live, right? I mean, so we got to figure out how to make the brain and the heart work in tandem, and traffic and conversion are those things. Now, paid traffic is wonderful. It's fantastic. You should do it because paid traffic done correctly doesn't cost you anything. It actually makes you money. However, if you're over reliant on one method, not only do you put yourself in a dangerous position, but above and beyond all that, these things are synergistic together. The brain and the heart alone don't do anything. Put them together and wonderful things can happen. And so anytime that we've approached getting visitors to view our monetized properties, whether they're affiliate marketing, physical products on Amazon, digital products on ClickBank, YouTube videos that the call to action is simply for product endorsements or some sort of monetization that we've enabled on the YouTube videos, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? What we really want is this. We want to find as many people as possible as quickly as possible, and we want those people prejudiced in advance of buying. So here's a little thought experiment for you, Zane, or for anybody listening, really, who's going to attend this live webcast where we break it down once and for all exactly how they can get all the free traffic with the prejudice involved in advance that free traffic will automatically convert to them. And you can, of course, participate in this event at omg-machines.com/register by clicking on the button on this video, right? The real question is this. Let me give you the scenario. Zane, let's just say that you won the lottery. You bought a ticket, you forgot about the ticket, and you stored it away somewhere. But somebody that cared about you greatly also knew that you bought that lottery ticket, and they also knew that you were the winner of $100 million jackpot. Now, my question to you, Zane, is, does it matter how they reach you to communicate that message, whether it be by phone, text message, pigeon carrier, one of those planes flying in the sky with a banner? Do you really care what vehicle they use to get that message across to you?
Not at all.
You only care that you receive the message. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, here's the second part of the thing. If that message is presented in broken English, if that message is presented that says, hey, you over there, yes, you, and it's super long and convoluted and it takes forever to get to the point, right? Do you really care? As long as the message is you've just won $100 million cash in your lottery ticket.
Yeah, even if I had to think about it a little bit, I would still be grateful.
Even if it was in 2-point font on a fortune cookie and you had to squint to read it and break out the magnifying glass, you wouldn't care too much, as long as you knew that the message that reached you was of vital importance to you, right?
Absolutely.
And so in 2016, that's the equation that we have to solve. We have to figure out simultaneously what's that right message and how can we get it as close to you just won $100 million in terms of the emotional impact it has, right? And then how do we deliver that message to people? And the easier we can get that to them, the better. So like a fortune cookie is probably not as of good a way as, for example, a trusted advisor that they believe in, such as a YouTube video that they search for or a Google video they search for. See, at the end of the day, there's two types of marketing. There is adversarial marketing, and then there's the role of the advisory type of marketing. So there's advisory marketing and adversarial marketing. So let me run down the two situations for you. Let's say one day you're on Facebook, Zane, and you're like really excited to see what your friends and your former girlfriends and all the people you went to school with and all that junk. You're on there looking at it, and all of a sudden out of the middle of nowhere, interrupting your wonderful experience on Facebook is somebody trying to sell you something.
Yep. Gotta love that.
That's interception. That is adversarial marketing. By the way, does that work?
For me, it does the opposite. It makes me
It,
want to close out of it and block it and make it go away.
but it works enough so that way people continue to do it. It's not ideal. It's challenging. It's the message in the fortune cookie. It's extra hard to get across, but in the end, if done correctly, it can work.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
It's challenging, and it doesn't work that often, but it works often enough. So 99% of the time when Zane sees an advertisement, he's not going to respond to it favorably, but that 1% of the time more than makes up for it, and we all do that. Now, here's scenario number 2. Let's say one day you wake up and you decide, man, I really want to learn how to juggle. And then you go and you do a Google search, and you search for, how do I juggle? And you come across a YouTube video or a web page or something that gives you wonderful information of exactly how to juggle. That's pretty good. I mean, in this situation, Zane, are you upset that what you searched for you could easily find, or are you actually in a positive frame of mind to say, cool, I'm excited about my experience thus far?
Oh yeah, no, that my user experience is very important. I want to be able to know that this is what I'm looking for. Now I've found it. Now I can get it. Hooray.
So now we're in an advisory type of role. So we can say to you, hey, if you really enjoyed what I just shared with you, maybe you would also enjoy, and now we insert the advertisement. Now we insert the offer. Now you might not say yes to it immediately, but the possibility, the probability, the effectiveness of you saying yes to that, much better, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
So what we're going to do on this webcast is we're going to break down exactly how to make that happen at omg-machines.com/register, which you can go directly to that URL right now. Or hey, even better, I'll tell you what, just click subscribe on these videos here, because we got more stuff and more goodies along the way. And of course, it's all going to culminate to that live webcast event that hopefully you will be on as well. But here's the point. The point is we figure out a way to control the message and deliver the message to somebody at just the right time, favorably to them. We solve a small problem that they have. We make them happy with the relationship that we just started with them. And then we ask them if they have a bigger problem, and then we offer to solve that as well. And this bigger problem that we're offering to solve, of course, we're going to be remunerated for our services, so to speak. We're going to be rewarded with money if they say yes. Either they buy it directly through you, they buy it through your referral, they buy it through the person that you're the one getting the exposure to, who already has that amazing message, and any one of a million other ways that we can monetize. But here's the point. Anybody who does not have that ability to do what I just described, meaning anybody who does not have the ability to show up where people are looking for stuff and then give them that thing, they are playing the game of making money online at a significant disadvantage. Does that make sense, Zane?
Yes.
That's like saying, let's play a game of basketball, and I will only use my left hand on the basketball court. It can be done, but I don't advise it whatsoever. And so now here's the reason why most people play one-handed basketball, meaning they say, no, I don't want to do what Jason just described. Here are some of the misconceptions. Here are some of the things, the misinformation you feed yourself in your brain when you're talking that is cheating you out of the opportunities to be the best you that you can be. You say certain things of along the lines of, oh, well, I don't want to do this whole optimize my content so people can find it in search engines such as Google, YouTube, and Amazon. I don't want to do that because, you know, what are some of the excuses, Zane? Let's rattle them off. I'll give you the first one, the obvious one. What is it?
I'm too busy.
I'm too busy. I don't have enough time to do that. And my question is always to you is this. If what you're doing right now is making you all the money you like, then yeah, you're too busy. But if what you're doing right now with your time, you can't justify that from a revenue perspective, then you're not too busy. You can definitely eliminate something that isn't making you money and put something else in its place that has a chance for making money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So nobody's too busy if they're broke.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just laying it out, right? And by the way, nobody's too busy to improve themselves if they're not satisfied with their current situation. You have to make some decisions and you have to replace it. So the I'm too busy objection is a valid one. It's also one that will keep you poor if you let it. So the question to you then is, if you're too busy to do this, what are you doing instead that you can justify as a higher value activity? And I'll do you one better. Let's organize all your activities from the most effective to the least effective. And now let's take that least effective one that you're already doing, and let's eliminate that and replace that. Because what we're going to show you on the webcast at omg-machines.com/register is going to show you how with as little of lever as possible, we can move the biggest mountains. And then if that works for you, guess what? You can take another step forward and do a little bit more and a little bit more. So you can ease your way in. So that's the first big challenge that we're going to accomplish. What's another thing? When people say, well, I don't want to be the person that shows up for how to juggle on Google and helps somebody. Like, what's another objection somebody might have against this type of marketing?
I don't think I'm an authority.
Well, yeah, they say, I can't teach people how to juggle. I don't have anything worthwhile. So even if we get that exposure, even if we show up and try to provide helpfulness and service to somebody who's looking for something online in any one of the major search engines, we feel like we do not have that message. But I will tell you this. Tell me if you agree with the following, Zane. Are there lots of people out there already who have wonderful, amazing messages and nobody's hearing them?
Yes.
Of course. And it's a tragedy. In fact, there's a reason why that exists. There will always be a disproportionate amount of people who have wonderful things to say that nobody ever hears. And I'll tell you why. Because they spend all their time perfecting the message and 0% of their time perfecting the exposure of that message. And so naturally, of course, there's going to be an absolute disproportion of wonderful people, highly qualified experts with amazing things to say that nobody hears them. Now, you don't have to spend one instance of crafting a message in this regard. You can spend the opposite, 0% of your time on the message and 100% of your time on the exposure of the message. I call that the perfect marriage of business. You take somebody who's good at the content, you take somebody who's good at the exposure, and bada bing, bada boom. By the way, hello, right here in front of your eyes, it's exactly what's happening. I'm extremely good at this content here, and I don't want to spend the additional time to do the exposure, so I work with somebody like Zane, who's extremely well-versed and talented in the exposure, and we have this perfect marriage. When you can do the exact same thing. You can find and identify these people, and then part of the conversation, you just got to ask them, well, what would it be worth to you if instead of nobody seeing and hearing of you, we had this many people? And very often you will discover that's worth at least half of whatever they're doing. And very often, in most instances, it's worth more. So the beautiful thing here is you have an opportunity and a choice of power, because here's the other question that goes along with this, saying, in the situation when it comes to making money online, at the end of the day, who has more control of their fate or their destiny? The person who knows how to get exposure of the message, or the person who just has the message?
Well, the person who can get the exposure.
That's exactly right. And so in any instance, not having the message is okay for now. Now, in an ideal world, you'd both have the message and the exposure. That's how you create 8, 9, and 10-figure businesses, right? But to create 6- and 7-figure businesses, of which I've created several of them, exposure is most important of all. It's tantamount. And so exactly what we're going to be talking about when you click on this video right now to go through and sign up at omg-machines.com/register, I'm going to break down exactly to you how you can get that immediate exposure regardless of whether you do or do not yet have the message. So thus far, Zane, we've talked about, well, maybe I don't have something worthwhile to say, so it doesn't matter if I get exposure to the people who could hear it. We also talked about, oh, I'm super duper busy. What is another reason why somebody might say, well, gee, Jason, I'm not open to this opportunity to help people and get paid for it, to get that exposure and then give them the message that they will be most well received by these people? There's a major one we haven't hit upon yet.
I don't have the tools available to correctly tweak the stuff on the internet to give the experience that everybody's willing to pay for.
Right. So they say, Jason, I still never figure out how to set the VCR clock. How are you expecting me to navigate through the technical jungles that are things such as Google search results and YouTube search results and Amazon search results and Bing search results and any other search engine, of which all the major top 100 websites in the world, a disproportionate number of them are actually, at the end of the day, search engines. Did you know the App Store and Apple is a search engine, right? Isn't that interesting? Sense. So you say, I don't have the technical skills. Awesome. Congratulations, because if it required only technical skills alone, the only people that would be millionaires would be eggheads, geeks, scientists, and people with computer degrees. But isn't it interesting how most of the high-earning, income-producing individuals that you and I know, Zane, they're not very technical. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, very yes.
Very much so, yes. And in fact, most of the guys that are very technical often have the most trouble making money online. Would you agree with that statement as well?
Yes, I would.
because they get seduced by the technology and they forget at the end of the day, we're not selling to computers, we're selling to individuals that are controlling those computers, right? So in a
Mm.
sense, it's wonderful to be blissfully ignorant of the technical capabilities, because then you won't get distracted by them. If you keep your head where it should be, which is how can we get the exposure and then transition that into money, you will do 100% A-okay without any technology. Because I will tell you, there's plenty of free and very inexpensive things that will do the technological heavy lifting on your behalf for you, more so than ever in 2016. Is it easy for you to minimize any technological challenges based on what's available? Here's what you really need, though. At the end of the day, it's less technical and it's more knowing the shortcuts, the insights, the levers, the things that shouldn't be but are. And those are the things that are always being contrarian. Let me pose a scenario to you, Zane, to really put this into perspective here. I was talking with my financial planner about 2 years ago, and we were looking at different potential investments to take some of my passive income and have it produce better. And he says to me, well, this, that, this, that, this, that. And I go, well, that's all fine and good. I said, financial planners, if any, if everyone's making money, if a financial planner can only make money when everybody's making money, how good are they? I said, I want the planner who's making money when everybody else is losing money. So in 2008, when everything fell apart, the real estate market crashed, the stock market went beep, right? No financial planner was making money except for like a few. And by the way, guess who made the most money ever? It was during that time, where somebody made billions of dollars because they traded against that. Everybody else is saying, okay, this is the way it is. And this one person says, no, that's not the way that it is. The Big Short. Have you seen the previews for that movie?
No.
Now, we'll see. That's a movie that's coming out here very shortly, built around this whole thing. When everybody else was losing money, this guy made money. That's the person I want to know. I don't want to know the guy or the girl who can make money when everybody's doing it, because that is more situational and external than anything. I want the individual who knows how to work it when nobody else knows how to work it, because then we can leverage that position as long as we're on the inside, not the outside. When we're on the inside and we're eating the pie, we all have bigger pieces in a situation like that. This is called contrarianism. And so the wonderful thing is, if you're going to take advantage, it has less to do with technical ability and more to do with what's the thing here, there, and over there, the leverage points that almost nobody knows about. So that way we get the significant advantage in the marketplace, because whatever the message is, you're not the only one trying to get exposure to it. It would be wonderful if you were, but that's not the case. There's lots of people that are. So if we do the same approach and the same things all these other people do, we're going to get the same result. We're just contributing the noise at the same level and frequency as everybody else. If we find and do the things that they're not doing, here's a hint for you, none of them are technological, then we get the results that they don't ever get. Now, here's the only way that you can make that happen. Community. If you have enough different people trying enough different things under the proper guidance and utility, and then reporting those back, that's how you get leverage. Because oftentimes, Zane, these leverage points, they don't make any logical sense. They just don't.
I hear that.
If they made logical sense, everybody would be doing them. And sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around them. But we see this in Amazon search engine all the time. We say, why is this person with 0 reviews and a horrible listing and an overpriced piece of crap Chinese product that's inferior in every way, shape, or form? Why is Amazon putting them number 4 overall for their best search phrase? Doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't make logical sense. And so therefore, they are doing something fundamentally, massively different than everybody else. Now, I'm not talking about gaming the system and not providing value for the customer, because that's a waste of time. Even if it works, it doesn't work, because it will only work for a short period of time, and then you'll have to reinvent the wheel over and over again. I'm not about doing that. I'm about doing the work once and getting paid multiple times. But the funny thing is it doesn't make logical sense. So you got to throw logic out the window. So here's the situation. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in front of a 5-digit safe, Zane. Okay. And you do not know the combination, but if you did know the combination, on the other side is more riches than you could spend in a lifetime. Here's a question for you. How many combinations would you have to try to crack that safe? 5 digits.
Yeah.
You'd have to try almost 100,000 different combinations if my math is correctly being applied right now. 100,000 combinations, right?
Yeah.
Not likely that you're going to be able to crack that safe. But if you and I sat down and I said, Zane, you take the first half and I'll take the second half. Now we only have to crack, instead of 100,000,
yeah.
50,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if you and I divided it up and we brought in 2 of our friends? Now we only crack 25. What if we brought in 100 people? Now we only have to crack 1,000, right? So if you want to play this game of figuring out the inconsistencies, the things that don't make logical sense in Google, in YouTube, in Amazon, those things that nobody else really knows, except for a few people, you got to achieve this balance. You got to be part of a community that doesn't share outright and forth with every individual in the world, first of all, because then you lose any advantage that you would gain the moment you gain that advantage, right?
Right.
And then second of all, but you have to have enough people understanding what the safe is and applying combinations in a way and then reporting their results. So that way we can all crack the safe and then share in the riches together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, everybody's got to be on the same page, but that
we
leads
all
me
got
to
to be
another...
trying to crack the same safe, and
Exactly.
we all can't be using the same digits to crack that safe.
Right. So I mean, but there's communities everywhere online, from Facebook communities to forums to Google Plus communities. How do you know you're in the right community that's even trying to crack the same safe, let alone people that you can actually trust?
I love that question, because we all have the broke uncle who gives us financial advice, right? God bless him. We love him, but we don't want to listen to him if we actually want to get the results.
Right.
So here's the measuring stick. It's very simple. First of all, you have to ask, is the individual or individuals who are the head of this snake of the community, the ones that are the leaders, right? Are they getting results today? Not just in the past, but are they getting the results today? Okay, that's the first litmus test. If they pass that, it doesn't mean necessarily anything other than we don't eliminate that community. It doesn't mean we go into that community, because that doesn't matter, because here's the second level. Are other people getting that result who follow that approach? Okay, because by the way, I don't even want to crack a safe. I'd rather write a check to the guy who's cracked the safe and just tell me the results, right? I'll put a couple digits in if I have to, but that's a second level effort. That's plan B, right? So the thing is here is like, okay, do other people get the result? Now, by the way, if they do, then you have to say, okay, that doesn't eliminate them, but it doesn't mean we're going to the community yet, right? Because then here's the refinement of the approach. Do other people, enough of them from wide varieties of different backgrounds, levels of experiences, approaches, et cetera, do they get the results? And that's
like
very important.
Universal, right?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. It's got to be the process, not the people.
Okay.
Process, not the people. If you have a lot of different individuals from a wide degree of backgrounds with little or no experience, or a wide degree of experience, wide degree of profit models, wide degree of everything, that will tell you very, very obviously it's not the people, it's the process. Because here's the deal. If you put me in front of any type of opportunity, I will make money with it. It's a fact, right? It's kind of funny, but it's not a good measuring stick if Jason can do it, because it's my job. I'm supposed to do it, right? But if we stop somebody on the street, said, hey, you over there, right? Do it. And we didn't know who the hell this person was. We didn't know what their IQ level was. We had no idea about their experience. We knew nothing of them. But if we could sit them down in front of a computer at a library and walk them through the process, I'm not going to say they're going to get the same result that I get the first time that they do that, right? But if they can get a positive result, a net positive result, that is a pretty good sign that it's not the person, it's the process. And if there's lots of those individuals, even better, even better. And so a big part of what we're going to be talking about on the webcast at omg-machines.com/registered, the only reason it blipped on my radar in the first place is because these people were producing wide varieties of people. So I believe what I'm going to show you on this webcast is something where it is not the person operating it, but it's the process that makes the difference. Now, there's some catches that you will see on the webinar that eliminate some people, but it's not the person, it's the process. The only thing you have to ask is, am I one of those people that qualify or not? And you can find so by going to omg-machines.com/register or clicking on the annotation on this video, right? But it's very important that we understand that we have to make sure we're playing with the right safe crackers. Because here's the other thing to this metaphor, Zane, is what happens when that safe combination changes.
Oh, no one said it was going to change.
Yeah, it's going to
How
change.
do-
It does change. It changes all
so
the
they,
time.
so the people in there also have to know that the combination is going to change also and be ready for it.
They have to be agile enough to know that inevitably when the combination does change, they have to be able to take themselves in a position to adapt, report that change, and then build upon that change. And it's in perpetuity. And that's why it's important to have that community. Because here's what most people rely on. So they buy a home study course, a very static thing that doesn't change or adapt over time. And the value on that, if it is valuable, if it is a process-orientated thing and not a person-orientated thing, right? The shelf life on that value is going to be limited until the market changes. Because here's the deal. Markets are made up of people. And do people's taste, preferences, desires, and problems change over time?
Yes, every day.
So we have to be adaptable to that. If we want to stay relevant, then we have to be adaptable to that. So remember earlier when I said, I want the guy who's making his clients money when every other financial planner is losing money. That's the guy I want, right? So the wonderful thing is this community that I'm going to show you of where I learned all the insights that I'm going to teach you at omg-machines.com/register. They were the people when everybody else was saying, oh, the sky is falling on Google, panda and penguin and every other cute furry little animal. Google's stupid. We're not going to use that. It's only the biggest search engine in the world. It only sends more traffic than anything else in the whole world. But let's play one-arm basketball, right?
Yeah.
These are the people that says thank you for getting out of my sandbox. So I have the sandbox to myself.
Now you think with the same metaphor, you said that do you think the majority of experts out there, and I'm using quotey fingers, believe that the combination to the safe doesn't change, like it stays static, and this is how you have to do it all the time?
They don't even care about that. They just want to sell you the safe.
All right. I like that.
They don't even know if you can open the safe, and they don't even know if there's anything inside the safe, right?
Oh, I like. Yeah, no, I know the good analogy.
That's kind of funny. Right now, there are some well-intentioned individuals, and what's the saying? The biblical saying, right? The path to hell is paved with it, right? So there are some people who want to help you. They're just not qualified to. And that's a sad reality, but it is a reality. And if we want to play the game to win, we got to acknowledge reality. Definitely got to be aware of reality. And so some people, well-intentioned people, will try to sell you the safe combination. They just don't realize that it's already changed and it's obsoleted by the time that they taught it. These are usually individuals, we call them one-trick ponies. They discover one thing, one time, that's one manipulation. And let me tell you, Google ain't dumb. Google's very smart. So if they discover a blip on the radar and they take advantage of that, it's a limited window of opportunity to take advantage of that. So the refinement of the approach here is we got to figure out things that work short-term and long-term, things that we can exploit today, and I use the word exploit intentionally, that we can then leverage and roll up into long-term things that will produce for us over and over again. That's the focus of omg-machines.com/register that we're going to be diving into on the webcast. Let me give another objection that you didn't bring up yet, Zane, but I know is one of the biggest of all time. They say, okay, guys, I buy in to the concept. I believe it'll work, but my only problem is I don't live long enough to see the fruits of my labor turn into results. They say, the problem, Jason, is going after free traffic on Google, YouTube, Amazon, or wherever. It takes too long. There's too much setup involved, right? It's like saying, man, I need to live in a house. I'm homeless today. Let me just build a house from scratch. And then, 2 years later, I'll have a house to live in. Too much upfront reward or upfront effort for a long-term reward that may or may not pan out. Most people want results yesterday. They don't even want to wait for today to be over with. They already want the result before they even start. So our challenge here is, does it make sense in the short term? And here's what I know to be true. Now, Zane, you know me personally. I have about as much patience as a gnat. Would that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say.
Oh, man. If I have to wait for something for a minute, it's an eternity to me. I need to see results ASAP. So the only things that I ever focus on are things that can justify themselves in the short term and in the long term. Not just the short term or not just the long term. It's got to be both, A and B. So I'm going to give and reveal a pleasant surprise for those who realize the value of what we're talking about here today and attend at omg-machines.com/register. I'm going to show you how you can achieve this in time so fast, you'll be wondering why you didn't do this sooner. And I'm not going to tell you more than that right now because I can't spill the candy in the lobby here. You got to show up for the movie, right? But we're going to break that down specifically step by step on this training.